Welcome on in, everybody. This is Three Bold Takes. Chase here, back with some of his best friends, Freddie and Quinn. And this week, we're also bringing in our special guest for our overreactions, Austin Hambone, Arkansas. Austin Hamblin is on with us this week, our special guest. So excited to have him here. Guys, we're ready to talk some college football overreactions. All right, guys, we're going to toss it to Quinn because he's going to let us know something he's got to say about Texas. Quinn?
Yeah, so my overreaction this weekend in college football, and I've been holding off on the Texas train. Even after they won that game against Alabama, I was like, that was a big win. But I need to see a little more from Sarkeesian, Texas, before I'm going to start really talking about Texas a lot on this show. And what I saw this weekend has me thinking Texas is for real legit. It's their first 5-0 start since the '09 season with Colt McCoy that they went to the national title game. Uh, you're talking about, I mean, it's Kansas. They're not necessarily going to be the biggest threat in the Big 12, but they're a legitimate football team this year. And you see Texas have a struggle game through the first half, come out in the second half and make Kansas look like they never belonged in that stadium. Um, I was very impressed by what I'm seeing, especially from the offense for Texas. So my overreaction this week is Texas is legit and get ready to see them in the playoffs in January.
Oh, Chase, you want a
No.
rebuttal?
Personally, it's kind of funny that you waited until they played Kansas to bring this up. Kansas was the one that said, "You know what? I'm gonna bookmark this." And Texas, they're back after beating Kansas.
It's less that they beat Kansas and more the way they beat Kansas.
You got that, and then you didn't want to wait until after next week, Quinn. I don't know. I think you might be jumping the gun a little bit.
We'll see.
Austin, anything?
I agree with Quinn. I saw it. I saw it this week. I think Texas is the real deal. I saw it when they played Alabama. I think Sark's got him. I think Sark's got him rolling, and I think we'll see them in the playoffs this year.
Wow. I think Texas is really good, but I do want to call out here, and I don't want to, and this isn't no Texas hate here, okay, or slander, if you will.
All right.
Texas played Rice in week 1, played their backup quarterback, and Rice's backup quarterback. Then they played Alabama, which was, Jalen Milroe's probably the worst quarterback in, at minimum, what is that, 9 years since Blake Sims, at minimum, okay? Then they played Wyoming, backup quarterback at Wyoming. Baylor, backup quarterback. Kansas, backup quarterback. So I don't want to pump the brakes or say that they're overrated. However, I think their biggest test, Chase, and you alluded to this, is next week against Oklahoma. Gabriel's has one of the best seasons so far in college football going at the moment. And Oklahoma finally, now I remember last year they had one of the worst seasons they've had in a long time last year. But Venables has got them rolling this year finally. And so I think if they can do to Oklahoma what they did to Baylor, which is 38-6 or 38-7, 38-10, a convincing win. It doesn't need to be a blowout win, but a convincing win, then they'll have my stamp of approval.
You're considering 38-6 a convincing win, not a blowout win?
Well, 38-10, 38-14, whatever. Like 40-14 to me is sort of a blowout win, but it's not like you won by 35 points or whatever it was.
What do you make of them? They're consistently in the lead. It always feels like they're in control, but let's say they only win by 14-17 points. We're not talking about some 30-plus victory over a top 15 team.
We'll have to wait and see.
Yeah,
I don't want to play hypotheticals here, but if they're leading the entire game and they execute well and it's not just one of those, all right, well, things went their way this game. Fumbles bounced in their hands. Tip drills went right to them. Stuff like that. If they're in control and dominating the game, they'll get my stamp of approval. But right now, honestly, of all of college football, I wouldn't argue that they could make the playoffs right now because I don't know who the best team in the country is at this current moment.
And I think there's a curse around like that statement you uttered, Quinn. Texas is back, right? Every time it seems to happen, that next week, that next 2 weeks always goes downhill for them. And so that's why you chose the Kansas game. Man, I wish you would have waited just one more week to say it, because I'm hopeful they'll take over Oklahoma, because they do have a lot of what's they have value to be the number one team in the country right now, I believe. And so, I hope that Quinn just didn't utter these words, and now that they're going to go and play Oklahoma in their rivalry game, and they're going to lose this game because of what Quinn just said. If so, I'm coming back next week hurting.
Let's just put it this way. Do you truly overcome it? And can you truly, in your gut, feel like Texas is back without saying it 1 week too early and then them beating that curse and proving that curse is like BS and this team's bigger than that? So, you know what? I'm going to go give them their flowers. I've seen 2 games against ranked opponents where they've executed well and outcoached who they were playing.
Right.
I think they're legit.
Right. All right. Anybody else on Texas being back? Anything?
Back.
All right, guys, thank you so much for joining us for our overreactions this week. So glad to have Arkansas Austin on with us this week to join us for our overreactions. We talked some Georgia, we talked some LSU, we talked some Washington, and we also talked that maybe Texas is back. So make sure you to watch all 4 videos. Thank you so much for joining us and some of my best friends, Freddie and Quinn, and also our special guest, Austin. Till next time.